It's the Wrestling Caucus. I'm Peter A.
I'm Smiley Ariaga.
And today we're going to talk about Bash in Berlin, WWE, the first big show in Berlin, in Germany, in about 25 years. And this is the first pay per view over there, too. So, what do you think of the show overall?
I thought it was awesome. I thought like all of like WWE's pay per views since even like a little before Mania have been just like way better than the TV. Like they pay. It felt like an actual wrestling pay per view. They pay things off. Like there are very few things where I'm just like, all right, this didn't need to be on here. But most of the time it's like, oh wow, shit, damn. Like like we knew Gunther and like we'll talk about it, but we knew Gunther and Orton was gonna be good. But wow, and like the strap match, Kevin and I can't believe like all these title matches are on the show. Usually it's like I thought they would do like every other. Most of the time it's been like every other pay per view will be the WWE title, the world title, but they had I didn't expect to have both title matches on the show. It was amazing.
Yeah, this show was pretty great because I felt like every match that had a good amount of time, it's because they needed that time. Like Gunther and Randy was about 35 minutes, but this is the kind of match that needed that amount of time. Cody and Kevin had about 25 minutes because, they needed that time. And I do love the 5 match format for non-major pay-per-views, the outside of SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, because if you're doing a show every month, you can't just pack every show with a bunch of matches because it's not going to mean anything, and you're not going to care after watching a 14 match show every month.
Yeah.
So I do love that Triple H and WWE are just telling us these are the things to focus on, and I think it works. I think at the end of the day, Gunther came off strong. Everybody that was on this card came off as something, and people are going to take something away from it. Um, Everything here mattered. There was no fluff. I
This
really
felt like a
appreciated
big
that.
show.
Yes.
This like I mean like that's the thing. Like I envision like we like I remember a while ago we envisioned, oh yeah, when we finally have a show in Germany, Gunther's gonna main event. Like and a part of we always talk about that, but then like some dumb booking happens and it's like, well, like I get but it actually happened and it was like, oh shit, this is even better than I thought it was going to be. Literally the one thing I would have changed, I don't know if you'd agree with this, just give Gunther a better theme song, literally. That's it. Like give
Yeah,
him
that's
a
it.
better. That's it. Like
That's
literally,
literally it.
he is the complete guy. He honestly, Gunther could have came out. He could have came out to no music. They probably would have sang for him. Like
Yeah.
they literally would have sang for him.
Yeah, I think when they announced this show, yeah, I immediately thought that yes, Gunther should be in the main event, but I didn't expect for them to put the world championship on him. I thought they would just main event him with the Intercontinental Championship, and I'd be okay with that too. But I think him with a world title just kind of, um, you know, just makes it that much of a bigger deal. And I thought it was a great choice for them to close the show. We'll talk about that match later, but I want to start off with the opener: Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, undisputed title. What did you think about this match opening the show?
I mean, I guess I thought it would have opened with a world title. If there's two world title matches on the show, I figured like one of them would open. But in all honesty, the tag team title match. Wow, I just realized the actual world tag team titles. None of the other tag team titles were like defended on this show. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like the world tag team titles and the WWE tag team titles were not. It was just the women's tag team titles.
Yep.
That could have opened the show, but because
Yeah.
Bianca and Jade are, they're a good team. I still don't. I'm kind of glad they took the belts off of Fire and what the fuck, Fire and Ice. Like what are they called? That other
Um,
tag team.
Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Yeah, they're not bad workers, but I feel nothing watching them wrestle. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe they haven't clicked with me yet, but yeah. But without digressing, yeah, that tag match could have opened the show. Honestly,
Yeah, I don't honestly. generally speaking, I don't mind that they opened the show, but on the other hand, all of the weight they put behind Cody and this 2 year story of him beating Roman Reigns, I don't think he should ever open the show. And I know this was about Gunther, this show, but Cody should not be opening. I think we'll talk about this later, but the Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, and Judgment Day match that should have kicked off the
Oh
show
yeah, that could have
because
opened the show too. That wasn't even for a title, was it?
it was a personal squabble, no title on the line that should not have kicked off the show.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. That's the mixed tag totally could have opened the show too. That yeah.
yeah, if you want like a quick, you know, high action match, I would have done maybe I guess you could add another match or because I do like the 5 match format, but if you're gonna have a sixth match that's gonna be a good opener, I would have done the next match in the series in Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. I
Oh
don't know if you've been keeping up
yeah.
with that on SmackDown yet, but that would have been a perfect opening match because it's not really for a belt, and it's not like those two guys are like main eventers right now. But I think that would have been the perfect match to kick off the show. But I just don't think that for someone like Cody and the title that he has, based on the person that he beat, this shouldn't be opening. But that being said, this match was incredible. I think these two know what the hell they're doing. They are professional and they just get it. You know what I mean? They told a great
Yeah.
story. Kevin brought up Cody's knee. Is it hurt? Is it not hurt? Cody's like, I'm fine. And he was skeptical to, to isolate his knee because he knows that it may perceive him as the quote unquote old Kevin Owens. And I thought he did a great job throughout this match telling the story.
Yeah, it's like on one hand, like in any other instance, like I always find it corny. Like we talked about this. Like I hate the whole like, oh, we want the old you because we see on Wednesday night all the time where and it's not just them, but a lot of they do a lot of it now. It's just like I want to see the old you. You remember how many times Chris Jericho has feuded with someone in AEW, and it was like, oh, we want to see the old Chris. We want to see this. Like, shut the fuck up. But like Kevin, like I don't know, Kevin is just so amazing that like I kind of like it didn't feel corny to me. Because even though I felt like they should have focused more on the fact that he was, it should have been more of the fact that maybe he lost his confidence because like his universal he didn't get the universal title run that he deserved. I didn't think like he was supposed that when he was universal champion last time, his him and Jericho's match should have been for the universal title. That should have been for the fucking universal title. I don't know why the hell they demoted him to the US title. No offense. I mean, some people would argue, well, the U.S. title's still tight. No, 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 no. He was fucking world champion going into WrestleMania world champion, and he dropped it for Goldberg. But I digress. This, it like, I'm glad he's back in a world title picture again. He should not, to me, like, yeah, we've seen him as tag team champions with Sammy. It was amazing. They had the best matches with the Usos. Kevin needs, he's one of those guys that he shouldn't be anything below like IC title right now. Same for Sammy.
The only thing I would say that they kind of went wrong with the Kevin Owens direction is that he kind of turned down the opportunity for a world title. I think that when you're in this business,
Yeah, that was a
that's what
little.
your goal should be. But I do like how, like you said, I do like how they brought up what Kevin brought up that his Universal Championship reign 7, 8 years ago was not what he wanted. And I think that's a good point. But however, I think Kevin Owens' attitude should have been, I want this. That's why I'm here. Cody, you're my friend, but I'm here for to be a champion. You know what I mean? I think I don't want wrestlers like in wrestling and in booking, creative, whatever. Um, People should not lose sight of that. You know what I mean? Like things should matter. I feel like even when WWE was starting to turn the tide, even though the show was a lot better, there was a lot of shows where they had matches that didn't really mean anything. Not like they didn't mean anything, like nothing was really at stake. It was a series of personal squabbles. There was no real okay, I want this. I want this championship. I want to win the Royal Rumble. I want to do this next. But I'll get through you first, but I really want this. I feel like now some of these guys have a goal. Like I think it started with Cody. Like Cody wanted to win the title that his dad never won. And I thought that was a direction um, that was right as far as the whole product is concerned. Now most people there are working towards a goal, which I like.
You see, I like how patience is a part of their booking process now. Despite
Yeah.
what certain fans are like, oh, like who are used to Mark booking, like being like, oh, this is going on too long. Like it's like, dude, like give it some time. Now, if it's going on too long and it sucks, that's a whole nother thing. But like, I don't know, the way they've been slow rolling things lately, at least lately, has been like sensical. But yeah, I agree with you. It's like him turning it down. It's one thing like if hesitation was on his face or how he was talking, or like maybe if he was like just I don't know about this, like I don't know if I can do it, that's one thing. But to turn it down altogether, like dude, why would you want to turn like what the fuck? Like I remember DDP telling a story about him like talking to Dusty Rhodes, and he was telling, I think I'm paraphrasing me, him talking to Dusty Rhodes saying, I don't know if I want to be world champion, and Dusty Rhodes is like, if you don't want to be world champion, what the fuck are you here for?
Yeah. Remember
Like
when
Kevin,
yeah, go ahead.
no, yeah. Kevin should always be like, if he's not world champion, it should at least be in the back of his mind. Like, I want to be the world champion. If like at least when he gets an opportunity,
Yeah.
like don't turn it down. But what were you saying?
I was saying that in AEW right before All Out 2022, CM Punk was not feeling great. Like he was feeling like he doesn't have it. And then Ace Steel comes out and like whips him in the shape. Like, what are you talking about? And then that We Are Chicago promo started, which is just monumental.
One of the best
It's
promos AEW has ever done.
Yeah, so I think a lack of confidence is great in storytelling in WWE. I just think that when you're faced with an opportunity, you got to take the opportunity. You got to something's got to remind you why you're here. So it'll be easier for people to kind of get behind you.
I like how everyone's challenging Gunther. Punk
Yeah, we'll talk
challenged
about that
Gunther,
later. Yes, yeah,
and Sammy challenged Gunther too. But yeah,
yeah.
we'll talk about that.
How did this match change, if at all, your perspective on babyface versus babyface title matches? Because I feel like some people and some talking heads in the past couple of years I've seen have been wary on babyface title matches, but I've always given them the benefit of the doubt to see what the story is, because you don't need to have every single program, especially for a title program, does not need to be villain hero every time. It doesn't.
People love both of them. So like they're gonna cheer for both of them. Now you can do some like they did some things that I kind of liked where they were teasing Kevin possibly turning heel. Maybe. Like the looming threat in the back of my mind where it's like, because you remember that one segment on SmackDown where Kevin picked up the title and looked at it and he just like gave it to Cody and Cody was just like, what the fuck was that? Huh? What was that? Like you saw it in Cody's eyes. Like they didn't set to say anything. So like two guys going in as babyface, I am all for that. Like
Yeah.
I like if they have forcibly made Kevin a heel before this match, it would have been dumb. Now after the match, I was all now that okay, yeah, you blew it off. The match happened. It was amazing. Now, if you want Kevin to powerbomb Cody out of his suit, go ahead if you want
Yes.
to. But the thing is, he didn't do that. I it would have been funny. Okay, remember when Kevin was hugging Cody and he shoved the camera away? Could you
Yeah.
imagine while he was hugging Cody, he kept looking at the camera all evil before he, as if Cody's not going to see that?
I wouldn't have liked that, because that's something Vince would have done.
No,
Vince
it's
would have
also,
made him do some stupid stuff like that.
and you know who else did that? Tony Khan did that. When, I don't know if you remember when when, Eddie Kingston in AEW, he formed the group with the Lucha Brothers and
Butcher and Blade.
I think so. And
Yeah,
then when he hugged all of them, you saw him looking at the camera like all evil and shit. I'm like, these idiots aren't gonna watch that footage back and be like, what the fuck was that? And shit. Like, what was that? Like, yeah, yeah. I'm glad. No, I like how they did this. I like how
yeah.
they did this, honestly.
I'd say in AEW, good babyface match. This wasn't like a program. This was kind of like a one off. Was when Eddie Kingston first arrived in AEW and he challenged Cody,
That was
and he
awesome.
basically said Cody came from privilege and all this other stuff and everything like that. I thought it was I thought it was really great. It was
Yeah.
awesome. They messed up when they turned him heel, but I will say that one off was amazing, and it made two people that hadn't really crossed paths, never wrestled on TV, have such a memorable. I think about that match all the time, and this is like COVID era wrestling, and this was like it was perfect to me. But all right, let's move on to the women's title match. We had Bianca and Jane and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Did this match at all change your perspective on how the women's tag team title matches have been presented?
I do like how this match was actually a fucking 2-on-2. I don't understand, and then this is for both companies. Why like there's so many multi-team tag matches? Just do a goddamn 2-on-2, and this match was a 2-on-2, and it was better than the last couple things I've had because the last couple things we saw were just like, oh, it's just four teams, and you're just trying to keep who's with who. This was just 2-on-2, and I don't know, it was fine. I still don't think I still kind of. I mean, I don't know. I still kind of like wish that they kind of like at least Bianca and Jade were gunning for the women's title, but I don't. On one hand, it's like people look at it like, oh, I don't want to see two black men, black women pair against each other. I'm like, I mean, you can do that later, like later, you know. But in terms of them being tag team champions, yeah, for now, like, yeah, like they have been like Jade has been slowing it down lately and with less of the crazy shit. So this match looked a lot better than like their recent matches has have.
I think this match, it was it FTR and Briscoes? No, but that's okay. It was simple. It was right to the point. They told a great story. And again, it was simple. It was not overthought. It was not overbooked. It was right to the point. And I do think that Bianca and Jade shouldn't have dropped the titles in the first place
No,
at all. If they're
no,
going
what
to
the
drop it,
hell?
yeah, if they're going to drop it to these girls, at least wait a little while.
At
Because
least drop it to Io and like Kyrie, a tag team that means something.
I
Jesus.
think this wasn't the time to flip flop these titles. Like it wasn't the time. But I will say that when they started the women's tag division, I didn't like it at all because I felt like it was forced. I felt like it was performative, and they didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. They thought let's build the whole thing around one team, right? Sasha and Bailey. But outside of like maybe Asuka and Kyrie, they weren't doing anything or they weren't doing much outside of that. At least now they are trying to build something because on Raw last night, they were really establishing Sonya Deville's new group with Shayna Baszler and what's her name? Zoe Stark.
Yeah, that horrible team name they have. That's like it. It comes out very Blackpool Combat Club in the sense like the name is just fucking
What's their name? I don't even know their name.
forgot. I just know it's kind of like it's just it's just kind of a mouthful.
But nonetheless, I think they're really trying this time. They're really trying to make something. I think Bianca and Jade were the perfect pair because Bianca is a star and they're trying to make Jade into a star.
Yeah,
And why not try to elevate the women's tag division in the process?
like people know who Jade Cargill is. Like she's like people know who she is. Like, but in terms of like talent level, I don't think she's on Bianca's level yet. But working with Bianca is only gonna just make her better. Hopefully, I'm
No,
sure.
in this match, Alba and Issa, they were isolating. They were doing a very old school tag team wrestling fundamental psychology stuff.
Yes.
They were isolating the babyface and they kept her as far away from her corner as possible, which made Jade's hot tag mean a lot more. It was very simple. And I'm like, whoa, wrestling could be simple. It does not have to be so complicated.
It can make sense. Who would have
Yeah,
thought? Wow.
exactly. Exactly. All right, moving on to CM Punk and Drew McIntyre strap match. Now,
Oh, these two losers who don't know how to work. No, I'm kidding. This match was
yeah,
amazing. This match was amazing.
let's just get this out of the way because this match was fantastic. There was nothing really bad to say. Just like the women's tag team match, it was very deep in psychology, great storytelling. But there's one thing that was wrong with this. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Is
he pulled
when,
out the necklace side of his balls.
no, it
Oh,
was when Drew McIntyre did the kip up right after CM Punk laid in the sharpshooter for a long time.
yeah, he no sold his sharpshooter. Like that. Fuck you. Like, listen. I'm gonna ask this question again. I told you this the last time I asked this question on this podcast. Yes, I will admit I was very heavy-handed with it, but I want to ask a genuine fucking question. And it's not. And what wrestlers sell, right? They're selling the fact that what they do hurts, right? And we're buying the fact that what they do hurts.
Yep,
When they don't sell, what the fuck are we buying?
exactly.
What? Are we buying the fact that Punk's sharpshooter didn't mean shit? Are we buying the fact that you don't like him, so you're not selling for him? But that makes both of you look bad. Are we buying the fact that your legs are made of that you're the Terminator and you have metal bones? Like what stop fucking no selling. Like stop. People like I don't know, man. And
Did
plus
this ruin the match for you?
no, of course not. No, it didn't want to match me at all. But it's just one of those things like and that's what pisses me off more is because Drew's amazing. Drew's amazing.
Yeah.
This guy was working your legs, which should make it harder for you to claymore him. To do your finisher, which is a kick to the face, a running kick to the face. Like he made it hard for you. Why don't like? There are other ways. There are a million other ways Drew can insult CM Punk. You don't have to no sell a sharpshooter.
Yeah, I just think that if you're gonna do the kip up, at least struggle.
Yeah, or at least like when you land on your feet, you're like, fuck, I'm an
Yeah,
idiot. Why the
collapse a
fuck did I
little
do
bit.
that?
Yeah.
Like you remember? Oh, like you see, here's the thing. For this show, I feel like it's just silly for me to say, oh, the selling was good because like, yeah, it should be every fucking time. Kevin and Cody, when Cody tried to climb the ropes and his knee gave out, I'm like, oh, I wanted to clap. It's like this guy gets it. Like where was that mentality when you were wrestling AJ and he gave you a burning hammer? Now, like he's like, that's the thing. When good wrestlers like Cody and Drew McIntyre don't sell, it doesn't look cool. It just looks dumb because you guys are awesome. Why be dumb? Because your buddies do that sometimes. Come on, stop it. Like just stop. Good people sell, please, please.
Yeah, but I did think this match was overall it was very brutal, very hard hitting. It was very compelling to watch. It was very cinematic, not in like the overproduced wacky way like they did during COVID, but it was really compelling to see what these guys were doing and telling a great story and just being very overall very physical without bringing out a bunch of gimmicks, right?
Yeah, like you know one thing that kind of I perceived as a callback. Well, two things actually. Someone pointed this out. I saw someone point this out. They were saying like, I just realized the connection of Punk fighting for the bracelet and introducing a strap match. Like, oh, you want something around your wrist? Well, motherfucker, we're gonna put
Yeah.
this around both our wrists. And another thing, you remember when Drew was carrying Punk throughout the back and the fireman's carry his bloody carcass?
Yeah.
And then he did that exact same thing during the strap match.
Yeah.
He was carrying each corner out, and I'm thinking like, was that foreshadowing for this moment? You see, that's the thing. When these matches are good, you can make connections like that. When you have two guys who are good workers, you can make connections like that. Like
Yeah.
there's so many subtle things in this feud that are just so awesome.
So, right, the next night on Raw, CM Punk does a great rah rah speech. He's getting really good at that. He was never really he didn't really do that kind of promo really
Where he was like,
um
yeah.
until like AEW. He was doing a lot of those, which was good. You know, he's an aging veteran. You know, it makes sense to do something like that. But so, and then Drew attacks him and leaves him bloody, right? So this is the strap match was their rubber match. So where do you go after that? Because Punk challenged Gunther. He wants the world championship, but obviously that's not going to happen yet because he was brutally attacked, which is going to lead to, you know, the third match, right? So do you think this is going to be Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood? What do you think?
I mean, he kicked him out of his shoes. He Claymore kicked him 3 times after that. And then when he was on the stretcher, he was like, think about it. He was in the building. Punk was on the stretcher, and they told you to get out, right? And then when they're bringing Punk to the ambulance, Drew ran around the building to where the ambulance was leaving and attacked Punk when he was on the stretcher. And he was like putting his fingers in his eyes. I'm like, yeah, yep.
It was great stuff.
They can do one of two things: an ambulance match, because
No,
well, that's just a guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to see that either, but that's a guess only because like the new game is like there's an ambulance match in there and shit. And they're like, oh yeah, play the game. You can do this in the game, or Hell in a Cell.
I'd take a Hell in a
Or
Cell
yeah,
any day.
yeah, me too, me
Yeah.
too. Because last good Hell in a Cell we had was Randy and Jeff Hardy, and that was amazing.
No, I'd say Cody and
Oh yeah,
Seth.
Cody and Seth. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That was really good. No, yeah. So yeah, if they do a Hell in a Cell. Here's the thing. I thought they would save Hell in a Cell for Seth Rollins and CM Punk.
No,
I
this
feel
guy,
like,
this is way more personal
yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Because the thing is, I feel like Seth and Punk will be more of a traditional wrestling match because
Yeah, 100%.
Punk. No, because that story, Seth said, "You cannot wrestle me. You're not built like me anymore. This is a new day. Like you got to be like I'm on another level than you." And yeah, like for that, you can do a traditional like wrestling match, which both of those two can easily do. Like, but this him and Drew now it should be like at least a Hell in a Cell. At least he kicked him out of his shoe.
Exactly.
He kicked, and
The
then
one thing I
not
did
only
notice, yeah, go ahead.
and not only did he take the bracelet back, which I felt like, oh, I mean, dude, like you put the bracelet in your pants, like he took it back already, like uh what more can you do with the bracelet? And then like while he was taking the bracelet off, I was like, oh god, you're gonna take the bracelet again? And then he broke it. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And you made him eat it. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to do a Hell in a Cell match. Yeah. Like
Yeah. I will say this about this match, and there was a lot of instances on this card because if you look at the modern wrestling landscape, right, you see AEW, New Japan, and the independents. It's a totally different style. It's very high speed, and yeah, in Stardom too, their high speed division. It's very fast paced, and doing a whole lot, right? And that's where a lot of wrestlers are doing in 2024. But like in WWE, it's a little old school, right? And it I think the idea is that we can't no longer say that wrestling fans want to see a specific style. I don't think that's true anymore because if you took they like to see many styles. If you take two luchadors, you take Dragon Lee and then you take Roosh, right? You put them together, they're gonna do a CMLL match, right? But then you look at Randy Orton, Gunther, Punk, and Drew. They're doing Piper and Greg Valentine. It's
yeah.
they didn't do any crazy shit. And Punk's getting older, right? So he's not gonna do Joe, his matches with Joe. He's not gonna do that anymore, right? So he's not gonna do even his stuff with
I mean,
Cena.
even when he worked Joe in AEW, the the collision match and the match at All In, like those matches were not like their older matches in terms of like them doing a lot of things, but like it was still just as brutal because like they're smart workers. That's the thing. Like hell, even now, if some shit happens, if Joe like strangles Tony Khan, he strangles Tony Khan and then he leaves AEW, comes back to WWE. if they still wrestle now, they're good. They're not going to do the same match they did in ROH. Because I kind of compare Punk to Raven a lot because Raven is one of the few guys who I've seen work classic matches. He gave Goldberg to me his best match ever. It
Yeah, I
was
agree.
Raven. Raven does he can do a lot of things, especially when he was in his back then when he was in his prime. He can do a lot of things, but he did what made sense. He can literally work a classic match without doing a move. Punk is like that.
Yeah,
He's a great
100%.
worker, and Drew is just literally like he's deadly. He's vicious. Like so, and here's the yes, I love seeing different wrestling styles all the time. But in each of those styles, just make it somewhat believable. That's all I ask for.
That's it. That's
That's
all
all
we
I
can ask
ask
for.
for. Like,
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
no,
So
yeah, this match was amazing.
yeah, we have Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, which are known as the Terror Twins. They have to work on that name. Versus the Judgment Day, we have Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio. Now, the one thing that's interesting about this match is that Rhea pinned Liv Morgan, who is the current Women's World Champion. Now, what do you think should happen next? Do you think Bad Blood, they should immediately go? I don't think they're going in that direction after what happened on Raw.
Yeah. Rhea got injured. Yeah, well, that's actually kind of smart by Liv. Injure the one who has a world title shot against you. That's
Wait a
kind of.
minute, wait a minute. Rhea Ripley's injured again in storyline, real life?
I think it's storyline. I
Oh,
think
thank
so. I think
goodness.
I think
Okay.
it's storyline. Yeah, she was on a boot.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah, right,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, that's fine. So, do you think they're going to immediately go towards Rhea and Liv, or do you think they're going to hold that off for a while?
I mean, Rhea's the one that has a world title shot. I don't think she's legitimately injured. If she's not legitimately injured, yeah, it's gonna be Rhea and Liv for Bad Blood. Which even that could be another kind of no disqualification match. Like, and here's the thing: the reason why I want a Hell in the Cell to happen at Bad Blood, I don't want a Hell in the Cell to happen at fucking Hell in the Cell. I want a Hell in the Cell to happen at Bad Blood. You know what I mean? Like I miss the days where like, you didn't know a Hell in a Cell match was gonna happen until someone challenged the other person to one. I
Yeah.
like that. So whatever, like yeah, but if Rhea and Liv work together again, it can be a certain type of no DQ match because she injured you, she stole your man, you and in like you and now you have an opportunity to win back your title, and she injured you again. So yeah, like I think, but just think about it. Other than Rhea Ripley, who the hell right now is qualified? Who isn't in a tag team who's qualified to challenge for the world title?
Yeah, off the top of my head, it's not a whole lot.
Unless
Um,
Asuka like comes back and snaps Dominic's neck.
or they bring up some from NXT, unless they bring Julia up straight away,
I
which I
mean,
don't know if that's going to happen with NXT going to CW. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Maybe we'll see it
he,
at the Royal Rumble.
I mean, I
But
would like that. That would be that
yeah,
would be
I have a
cool.
feeling they're going to hold that title match off for a while, because it looks like with Jey Uso joining with Damian Priest and Rhea, they may hold this off into War Games. Maybe do something like that. I don't know. Maybe
I feel
Bad
bad
Blood's
for
gonna
Buddy
have a.
Murphy. He has to watch a bunch of people like hit on his wife.
Oh, yeah.
That poor bastard. He's dark. He's what the hell is this tag team called? What the hell is
House
this
of
group
Black.
called in AEW? He's blacking it up and on Collision. Like you know something
Man.
for a hot second, when Rhea said, "I have an idea" to Priest when he said, "Who are we gonna get as a partner?" And she's like, "I have an idea." For a hot second, I thought, Buddy Murphy. Could you imagine?
I
Like
mean, it
Buddy
would be
Murphy?
interesting, but he's still tied up in
I
AEW.
know, I know. Dad reminded me,
Yeah.
and I'm like, God damn it! Like, fuck. Like, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, no, I'm glad it's Jay Uso too, because Jay,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. I think it's funny how he likes Rhea Ripley on TV. You're not the only one.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Let's move on to the main event. We got Randy Orton, Gunther, the WWE World Title match. Now, this was a psychological masterpiece. and a master class in that as well. They told such a great story with Randy working Gunther's arm and Gunther kicking out of the RKO with his non-injured arm. That was just
And he kicked
brilliant.
out at 2.5 and not 1.
Yeah,
Jesus, it's not that hard.
yeah.
At
What'd
least
you
when
think of
like,
this one?
yeah, at least it's not. Is it too much to ask for like someone to make? You see, here's the thing. I criticized AEW for making an entire feud about, oh, will he do the Tiger Driver? Will he do the unsafe move that he shouldn't do? Will he? Who knows? Like, this was like Gunther wasn't like, oh, I'm not scared of the RKO. In fact, I'm coming up with ways to counter the RKO, and he did counter the RKO in this match. He countered it right into a sleeper, which was nuts. And how Orton can use the RKO to counter Gunther's shit. Like, it, oh my god, this match was just like absolutely like just outstanding. It
And it
was
had a trajectory. It started off slow and technical, like a Gunther match, sort of like a Randy match, because when you would work guys like Shawn Michaels or someone like that, or or Chris Benoit or something like that, it was mostly technical, or even Triple H sometimes. They would exchange holds, and then there would be a crescendo. I think the same deal happened here. They started off at a certain pace. They didn't rush anything, but when it picked up, it really picked up. And this was amazing. It was very dramatic. It was unbelievably compelling. It
and the
was
thing
just,
is,
and they didn't do a whole lot at all.
no. No, Gunther was slapping the crap out of the skin off of Randy's chest and his back. And like, here's the thing. Gunther doesn't have a Gunther style match. He's just a good worker and his matches look great all the time because he's that's just what he does.
That's it.
Randy, I've never seen Randy wrestle the same kind of match. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen him wrestle.
I mean, him and Edge.
I mean, yeah, yeah, and like him and Christian didn't wrestle the same kind of match when they were feuding.
No, no. I thought you meant like wrestling, like a very technical sort
Oh
of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
kind of match.
exactly. Yeah, he's just extremely tech. Like he doesn't wrestle. Like, I've never like yeah, he doesn't like yeah. These guys never wrestle the same match. Like they're always. But the thing is, these guys what they have in common is that they always want an aura of believability in what they do. Like Gunther really wants to like make it look like, oh, these guys just tried to kill each other. And Orton, he he is extremely like he's very technical. He's very well, yeah, like he's very calculated. I think calculated is a better word with Orton. Orton doesn't really do a lot of crazy like submission stuff. But the thing is, Orton knows how to grab a hold and like make it look interesting. Like they like I don't know, man. Like these two, like I knew this match was gonna be good because literally the only thing wrong with their last one was the weird ass pin. But this was just even like nothing. Like what the hell could have followed this?
Yeah, and you know what's
What
funny?
the
These two, outside of the King of the Ring match, they haven't worked together,
no.
and they worked together. They had such great chemistry in the ring, and this was truly just great. And there's a handful of modern wrestling matches that I would show to the non wrestling fan. Like if someone told me, okay, I want to get into wrestling today, show me some things. This will be one of the first things. And of course, Kenny Will Ospreay at the Tokyo Dome, maybe any Brian Danielson match.
Yeah,
Just
like
pick one. It
you know,
doesn't matter.
I'd show him. Well, one of the bats I'd show him. Uh, Randy and AJ, their King of the Ring match on SmackDown. That was you remember the match you saw at Mania? It was hard to see because of all the bad lighting.
Yep.
This was even better than that.
Yeah.
Like Randy and AJ was yeah, I would show him that. I would show him like yeah, Randy style yeah, Randy and Styles.
Or
Uh
maybe one of not some of their bloodier matches, but FTR and the Briscoes. I show that to a non wrestling fan. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, or like uh Asuka and the first Asuka and Charlotte match at Mania, even though it had a shitty finish. Well, not a shitty finish, but the wrong person won. But yeah,
Maybe
we
Rey
digress.
Mysterio Psychosis from ECW.
Yeah, or like Eddie Guerrero versus name someone.
Right, exactly.
Like,
Rey Mysterio
like,
versus somebody. Shawn
yeah,
Michaels versus someone. It doesn't.
yeah. Oh,
A Bret Hart match. Any one of those.
Sean and Shelton Benjamin.
Sure.
Holy
Yeah.
Christ! Yeah,
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I'll definitely show that.
And now let's talk about the world title picture because it seems like Punk challenged Gunther, right? And on Raw yesterday, Sami Zayn challenged Gunther. Where do you think that? So, do you think Sammy? You like the idea of Sammy going first? When do you think the Punk match should happen? Should they hold that off to WrestleMania? Should that be Royal Rumble, Survivor
Uh,
Series, or what?
what's after Bad Blood?
Right now, I think it's Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. No, because Mania or Rumble, that's Punk and Seth. Punk and Seth should have Royal Rumble or Mania.
yeah,
Like that's like think every segment those two have had together. Dollar bills rain from the sky. And like also real emotion, like bled from the TV screen. And I have no problem with Sammy challenging Gunther.
yeah.
You remember their match at Mania?
Of
That
course.
was for the IC title. And Sammy, when the world title is at stake, he does not fuck around. You remember You remember even when even back in the days of SmackDown Live on Friday, when SmackDown Live first became a thing during the new era, Sammy and
Well, it
Kevin,
was Tuesday. The
yeah,
SmackDown Live era was Tuesday. Yeah.
yeah, you're right. When Sammy and Kevin were a team and they were having those great matches with Orton on TV, Sammy made it a big deal. I want to be world champion one day. And this, I don't know if he's gonna beat. He's probably not gonna beat Gunther because
Hell no, he shouldn't.
eventually I want to see Punk and Gunther. I want to see Gunther's like chop the tattoos off of his body.
Yeah,
That match is gonna be as outstanding. But another match that's I'm sure will be outstanding is Sammy and Gunther. Like
yeah, because Sammy said on Raw he's the one guy that beat him.
yeah,
Because he beat him at WrestleMania.
if
Yeah,
there's any guy that deserves a world title match other than Punk,
yeah,
it's you see. Here's the thing: if I were Sammy, I'd probably be thanking Drew McIntyre. Goes, oh yeah, well, like he probably saw Punk get carted off. Oh, I hope you get a. I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay, Phil. And then he walked to the entrance. He just ran to the entrance like I gotta challenge you. I have to challenge him. Like, Sammy and Gunther. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I think
And Gunther told
yeah.
him no, so Sammy's not gonna stop.
Before Punk and Bryan Danielson completely call it quits, both of those guys gotta wrestle Gunther. I gotta see Punk and Gunther, and I gotta see Bryan Danielson and Gunther.
Yeah, I want someone at AEW to piss off Bryan Danielson to the point where it's like, you know what, guys?
Well, Bryan
Uh,
Danielson doesn't have a contract right now with AEW, so
yo,
he technically can do whatever he wants.
yo, get him the fuck out of there. Get him the get Bryan Danielson the fuck out of there and have him wrestle Gunther. You know what? I don't give a fuck. Have him come to Raw with the AEW World Title. Tony would let him. Tony loves him. Tony loves Bryan Danielson. He let Bryan Danielson fire CM Punk. He can let him go to Raw with the world title. Hey Gunther. Hey man. like that wouldn't that be incredible?
No, he let Bryan Danielson fire CM Punk because he was afraid for his life.
Oh yeah, he
So
was
he sent
afraid for
Bryan
his
Danielson.
life because fucking CM Punk is fucking Jason Bourne, right? He's gonna kill you. Jesus Christ! What a God! What a
It's been an interesting year.
like. Listen, like while you still have all the credit, like because as long as if Danielson's on that title, you have a tiny bit of credibility. But yeah, I digress. Yeah, no, yeah, I would love to see Danielson and Walter.
Yep.
Gunther, yeah, I would love to see him and Gunther.
All right. It's the Wrestling Caucus. I'm Peter A.
I'm Smiley Ariaga.
And we'll be back in October for Bad Blood. And until then, you can catch up on old episodes of the Wrestling Caucus wherever you listen to podcasts. The link will be in the description. We're on socials as well. All that is in the description. Later days.